Hey guys, today I'm going to review the LEGO set 71722 Skull Sorcerer's Dungeon. This is a total of 1,179 pieces, was released around September 2020, and originally went for $100. So let's just go throughout the set, but I'll of course show the minifigures first. So with the minifigures, we're of course going to start here with, down here, Zane. This is his armored version. Shows them a couple other sets, but I do like this armor of them and some new pieces. Standard facial expressions, I'm not going to go too into it. I have certain characters on certain places here. Then we have Lloyd, who isn't that much different. He's not exclusive or anything. Same kind of facial expression. Not going to go over a lot of these guys. Put him back here. This, I forget his name, Ginkle or something. I'm pretty sure that's his name. He comes in other sets. This is basically what it looks like. Just has two daggers, some somewhat interesting printing. I usually place him here. This is Princess Vania, who is exclusive to this set. Interesting hairpiece, kind of a more rubber kind of piece, two facial expressions, mostly all white, some light blue, which I really like on minifigures, especially when it's mixed with other colors like that. Up here we have Cole, the main character of this season, he works really well with the gold. I haven't seen him with gold because he works well with silver as well, so I usually have him here. This is the main villain, the Skull Sorcerer. Interesting figure. He has that awesome looking skull piece in the newer color. Interesting facial expression as well, more menacing. And I like this big hat piece that kind of covers his face. That looks really cool, and I usually place him up here to fight Cole. Then I forget this guy's name. I know he's like a Munce. I think Mink or something is his name. Or Mert. Yeah, it's Mert is his name. Just a big orc dude with an axe. I usually place him kind of in this corner here. And then this is the Awakened Warrior. He comes in only one other set, but in this set he just comes by himself. Probably my favorite figure of the set besides the Skull Sorcerer. I just love the design of an all black skeleton. I wish we got more of these kind of all dark kind of figures like that. I usually have them over here guarding that. Before I get into the main structure, I want to mention some of the little kind of pieces that come along with it. This here is a spinner, and you basically just spin it around as like a dice. I'm not going to show how the game works, so I still barely know how it works anyways. There's basically just different sides to it, and you can put a figure in there, and that's kind of cool to me. There's also these live things where you can show that they lost a life or something. This is Zane's bow that I recommend you put in there. There's a second one of this in this set as well. So what the main structure is, like a board game, right? So you have different tiles. I don't know a lot of how they work, but I know for a fact the villains go on the villain tiles. So that's where I put all the villain characters in the set so far, including the Skull Sorcerer up there, since it makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to show you the basic structure, and then I'll go into the features. So you have this main bridge area, which is towards the end where you build that. Interesting design. I like how the little curves that it does. There's a little ladder up here, and this is a big old bridge with some play features on later. The inside is interesting. There's a little treasure room. The main gear functions you can see. This is one of the two swords that you get in this set. Interesting look to it. You could just put it back here. Not that big of a room, just little bits here and there. There we go. This room is kind of vacant except for some cool spells and a lot of details there. A little balcony, and of course up top, cage, little weapon area, and then this big skull you build towards the end. That's pretty complex build. And of course you have this walkway that goes into the main door. The main play feature of this set is that when you turn this kind of feature here, a lot of stuff happens. As you can tell on this main walkway, these start to move up and down. The cage moves up and down, so you can move it down, you can move it up. But of course, place a figure in there. This is one of those classic kind of Lego cages. You can just plop a figure there. Of course, this thing just turns these around as an obstacle. That's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like is that if this stops, it's kind of hard to do a lot of the functions, so it gets kind of stuck there unless you take loop it out. So that does multiple different functions, and that's really interesting how they did that. There's a whole gear system that you start to build during the thing. Of course, there's this kind of sign here that comes loose sometimes. That's probably the main play feature. Another thing I always forget about, there's this fish in this kind of light greenish color that I really think is interesting. I think this is the first time I've got it in this color, but I could be wrong. I don't know if it's a glow in the dark kind of thing. That does fall out super easily. It's not connected too well in there. Another cool feature is that if you push this in, you can open the door. It works better if you have a minifigure there and you can push the figure, but that basically just works like that. And what's cool about that door is that there's like these fire pieces in here that is considered a weird Lego technique that has been said as illegal, quote unquote. But those have like little flame pieces in there, and you just push that open. Kind of hard to do, but like that, and you can get this sword. I also got to mention that this is the other sword in this set. That kind of comes on the top, and of course there's another look at the inside of that, kind of dark in there, some paintings and stuff. Also, I really like how they did these railings. I did those like jet ski handle pieces or whatever. I really like that. There's one more main feature up top. There's this lever here. These kind of pieces flail a little bit, but if you open this up, these two top parts will open up as well, and you can push that down to reset it. That's cool. I like that. It's kind of a simple but interesting play feature to this set. Of course, a lot of stuff's falling out because of how this is done. You can actually deconnect certain parts of this too. This is kind of moving a little bit. You can like reconnect other smaller parts of the other sets, which is interesting. That's basically it for this set. There's quite a bit of play features here as well. And honestly, there's a lot of Easter eggs in this set too. Like there's this little axe back here and a lot of that kind of stuff. And I think one of these little areas, there's like a piece of poo kind of piece. Really interesting as well. So overall, this is my favorite of the newest wave of Ninjago. I just like the design of this set. It reminds me of some older Ninjago sets, especially from like the first 3 years of the theme. And I love a lot of the minifigures, even a couple that are exclusive, which is really interesting to me. So of course, thank you guys for watching this review, and bye guys.